Hello friends, welcome back to this channel. So, in the previous video, we show what is variables and why we are using variables in Terraform. Now, in this session, we are going to discuss about Terraform State. So without any further ado, let's get started the session. So Terraform keeps the remote state of the infrastructure. It stores it in a file called the terraform.tf state. There is also a backup of the previous state in a file called terraform.tf state.backup. So, when we execute terraform apply, then a new terraform.state and backup file is written to disk. So this is how Terraform keeps track of the remote state. If the remote state changes and you hit terraform apply again, Terraform will make changes to meet the correct remote state again. For example, you terminate an instance that is managed by Terraform. After terraform apply, that instance will be started again. Because, if you terminate an instance manually, the instance is gone, and then, when you do terraform apply, Terraform will notice that the instance doesn't exist anymore, but you have to find that instance, so it will just launch it again. Now, you can keep the terraform.tf state in version control. For example, using Git. It gives you the history of your terraform.tf state file, which is actually just a big JSON file. It allows you to collaborate with other team members. But unfortunately, with Git, you can get conflicts when two people work at the same time. You always need to do a git push and git pull, just to make sure that you are on the latest version. Now, local state works well in the beginning, but when your product becomes bigger, you might want to store your state remote, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. The terraform.tf state file can be saved remote, using the backend functionality in Terraform. The default backend is called the local backend. It's the local Terraform state file that we have been using up to now. Other backends that we can use include S3, which even has a locking mechanism, which uses DynamoDB on Amazon. And Console, also with a locking mechanism. And then we also have Terraform Enterprise, which is a commercial solution. So, how do we configure the remote state? There are actually two steps to configure a remote state. First, you add the backend code to a .tf file. Then, you run the initialization process. Let's start with an example. To configure the console remote store, you can add a file called backend.tf with the following contents. Here you have Terraform, backend console. And then you put the address of your console cluster, here in bold. You can also choose a path of exactly where in this console cluster the state will be stored. This code you put it in backend.tf or any other file named .tf. And then, that is the configuration for you. We can also store our state in S3, maybe it's most commonly used. Here you just have backend S3. You have a bucket name, you have a key. Key is in your directory in S3, and you can specify a region. If you wouldn't specify the region, then Terraform will still going to ask you for it when you do the initialization process. Now, when we are using an S3 remote state, it's best to configure the AWS credentials using the AWS command line utility. So, we use osconfigure to configure your credentials for your user. This is just because you cannot use variables in this backend configuration, because the variables are only used in a later stage of Terraform. The backend code needs already access to AWS, to S3, before it does any other initialization. Then the next step is to perform Terraform init, and this is very straightforward. You just type Terraform init, and then Terraform is going to initialize the backends. If you haven't specified a region, Terraform will ask you for the region, and then it will check whether the credentials are correct by connecting to AWS. And if everything went right, then you get a success message. So now, let's see how to use Terraform state with S3, using the S3 backend. The first step that we need to do is to go to AWS and we need to create a S3 bucket. So as you can see, this is my AWS console. And here, in S3, I am going to create an S3 bucket. Here, in the bucket name, let's say, demo, Terraform, remote, state, 2022, and the bucket name needs to be unique. And I am going to leave this all as default except versioning. So here, I am going to enable it, so if you perhaps accidentally delete a file, you can easily retrieve it, because Amazon keeps all versions. And create bucket. Now here, you need to configure AWS for user. So, I'm going to type AWS, configure, and then, I need to enter my AWS access key, and my secret key, and the region I want to use. I already explained the reason for this. You cannot use variables in the backend, so you need to make sure that Terraform can log in to AWS using the credentials saved by Amazon. Amazon, actually, saves these credentials in .aws/credentials, you can see. Now here, I am going to create a new file, backend.tf. And in this, backend.tf, I am going to put my Terraform backend S3 definition. Here I specify, bucket name, the bucket that I just created, and the key. You can now save this. And then, we have to type, Terraform, in it. We didn't specify the region, so now, Terraform is asking us to enter the region, so I am going to enter, US East 1. And then, Terraform will tell you, that it successfully configured the backend, S3. So, Terraform will from now on use S3 as its remote backend. So, let me now do another, Terraform plan. As you can see, this is going to launch an example instance. So now, I am going to do, Terraform apply. This is going to create this example instance, just like in the previous demo. But now the state will be on S3, the Terraform state. So, let's have a look at our AWS S3. Here, we can see, in our Terraform bucket we have new folder called Terraform. And in this we have demo 2. And here, we have the state file, which is JSON with our state. So guys, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I will see you in the next lecture. If you have any question or any doubt, feel free to ask in the comment section below. I will answer you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye and have a nice day.